I've grown up in a few weird places. Kind of started when I was 6, when my mom would start leaving the house every now and then. First, she'd be gone for a couple hours, and then she'd be gone for a couple days. And it was always just me, my little brother, and my 2 little sisters. She'd be gone, I think the most she was ever gone was like 2 weeks. And it's when I learned I had to really be in charge of everything. It's when I had to step up and make sure my little brothers and my little sisters were all taken care of, make sure they had something to eat, make sure they were going to school, make sure that no matter what, we were making it through it. I mean, when my mom would be gone at times, I'd have to make sure that they had something to eat. And then if my mom didn't even leave any food in the house, I'd have to go over to my neighbors, go over to my friends, see whoever could give me whatever they could. And if all else failed, I there was other people I had to go to, but it was never always the way I wanted to do it. My friends would, I wouldn't call them my friends really, but a guy across the street would give me stuff, and I'd go on a delivery for him, and he'd give me some money, and then he'd run me up to the store so I could buy groceries for my brothers and sisters. It was just never the best situation. We moved around a lot from place to place. We always just never knew where we were going to end up the next day. We never knew if we were going to be at home or if we were going to be in the car with my mom one night. I think for a while there we spent several months in a car with me and my sisters and my little brother and my mother, and it just wasn't ever the best situation. CPS was always in and out of our lives. Mom always gave us a script to read off of, make sure that we told them exactly what they needed to hear so they wouldn't take us away from her. And we didn't understand anything that was going on. We were just doing as we were told. And we just, sooner or later, I finally understanding that this isn't right. This isn't good for me and my brothers and my sisters. And something had to be done. My mom was coming home middle of the night. Sometimes she wouldn't come home, but at least every time when she did come home, she was always coming home with a different person. We never knew the guy that she was coming home with. We never knew if he was nice. We never knew if he was mean or if he was gonna do something to hurt us. I know there was a lot of times where a lot of bad things happened, where at some points I would sleep outside my sister's room and make my brother sleep in there so nobody would go inside. Because we had a few occasions where, I was abused and my little brother was abused, and it was all sorts of different types of abuse, anywhere from physical, emotional, sexual, every type. But we just had to keep moving on. We had to keep pushing forward. We had to keep living. I mean, we had nothing else to do, so might as well keep on living. I was probably about 14, 15, 16 whenever CPS finally took us out of our homes. It was actually after the second time that I had tried to commit suicide. Um, CPS finally came in and took us away where we wouldn't be going back with my biological mother. Um, they took us out of that home. It was my second time to attempt suicide at that point, and I didn't feel a point in living anymore. It just kept getting harder and harder, and I just didn't feel like it was worth it anymore. I didn't see my life getting any better. I didn't see it. All I could see was it just going downhill from there. They took us out of the home, and well, at that point we were actually sleeping in a car when they finally took us all away, and then sent us to a few different foster homes, and then finally ended up living with my biological aunts on my mother's side. Me and my sisters. My brother didn't have the fortunate of going with us, but that is where I met Renee. She was my CASA advocate, and probably the last person on earth I ever felt I would ever have a connection with. I remember whenever I first met her, she walked through the door, and back then my hair was a lot longer. I went through a few other stages as a kid, but my hair was a lot longer, and I kind of flipped my hair at her, walked to my room, and just kind of completely ignored her. And then about 5 minutes later, because I knew she had saw me, she comes into the room and asks me what my name is, and I told the lady, I don't like you. I never will like you. Get out of my face. Go away. But the persistence, I can't even say the word. But she wouldn't. She wouldn't stop. She wouldn't leave me alone. She kept bugging me. She kept pushing at me. She kept talking to me. She was the most annoying lady ever. I had a bad views towards CPS. And that's all I kept thinking was this lady was a part of CPS and she's the one who's going to ruin the rest of my life. She's going to be another lady that's just going to make everything go downhill. But eventually she got me to come out of the room and go sit with my brothers or my sisters and talk with them in the room. And my sisters, being the little sisters they are, they have a big mouth, and they told her that I like to sing, which was something I loved to do. And then Renee wouldn't stop hounding me. She kept bugging me, annoying me, and just getting every way possible to try to get me to sing for her. So finally, I gave up and I decided to sing for her. I sang her a song. And I think it was at that point right there where she knew that she wasn't going to leave me alone ever. Almost every month, she would come in, she would visit us, she would, take us out to lunch, see how we were doing, and she would always come and make sure she spent at least 5 minutes alone with me. She always wanted to know what she could do to help me out. If there was something I needed or something that she needed me, or I needed her to tell somebody for me. And she was really, really something special. And unfortunately, things just didn't get better for me right away. I winded up attempting suicide one more time. And winded up going to a hospital and staying there for a while. And the only person who came to visit me in the hospital was my CASA worker, Renee. She was there almost every day, and she was the biggest help. She was always asking me what I want to do, what I want to be. If there's anything in the world I wanted to be, what do I want to be? And if I told her anything, she'd tell me, just do it then. She told me she would go above and beyond to help me out, to be whatever I wanted to be. And I didn't know at the time that she actually meant it. While I was in the hospital, Renee, she gave me a gift, one that I still hold very dear to me, one that I'll never let go. While I was at the hospital, she brought me a Bible. And on that Bible had my name on it. And I wasn't very big into the Bible. I went to church every now and then, but it got me to start reading while I was there. And soon after the hospital, they moved me to another foster home. One out in Dallas, but unfortunately was being closed down soon. I had my 17th birthday there, and once again, the only person who came to see me was Renee. With a smile on her face, she took me out, got me some Wingstop, and then we stopped at a local store and got all the other kids of the shelter some ice cream. And it was probably one of the best birthday gifts, best birthdays. She came, she saw me, and it was just amazing. But since the shelter was being closed down, I didn't have anywhere else to go. So CPS had determined at that point that as soon as the shelter would be closing down, I would be moved to a RTC, which stands for a residential treatment center. And if you don't know what that is, it's not one of the best places to go. It's for more of the juvenile delinquents kind of kids, or to me it feels like a place where they just give up on you. And once you turn 18 there, they push you out the door and say good luck. And after a while of telling Renee how much I didn't want to go, how much I didn't want to be there, she made sure I wasn't. She eventually found me a home in Burleson. She found me a family that would take care of me until I turned 18. And I didn't believe it when she told me, but then she took me to meet this family. and they were just amazing. They were awesome. And I personally thought everything was just gonna fall apart at any second. I was real skeptical of everything. I was really worried. But until the day of the court date, where I actually got to go and stand in front of the judge myself, with Renee and the whole Miller family right beside me, telling me that I was gonna go and move in with them, it was probably the biggest relief of my life. And to finally find a home that I can say I'm gonna go home, to get to move into a house where I got my own room for the first time. It's an indescribable feeling. I moved in with the Millers, and it was the beginning of the summer. I was 17 and a half, and I was about to start my senior year of high school. Once again, I mean, I wasn't very excited about school, but it was my 11th high school, and it was going to be my last high school. So my whole senior year I spent at Burleson High School, and when everybody else told me it was going to be impossible for me to graduate, I graduated on time. I made sure that I worked hard and studied my butt off in school to make sure I can pass, to make sure I can graduate with the rest of my class. And that's what I did. I skipped my lunch. I had no lunch class or lunch period. I went into another class just so I would have enough credits to graduate on time. And I finally graduated 2012 on time with my senior class. And was from there on, I was determined to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And through that whole graduating process, Renee never left my side. She was always pulling me up to the next step. What are we going to do next? Where are you going to go next? Do you want to continue school? Do you want to get a job? What do you want to be? And no matter what crazy idea I came up with next, she was always telling me, all right, let's do this. I went to college for a little while, decided I wanted to be an actor. And she said, fine, let's get you into an acting school. So I went to acting school. Went to a few auditions, did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and decided I don't want to be an actor anymore. I want to do something else. And she supported me. No matter what crazy idea I came up with next, no matter what idea I still come up with, she's always supporting me. I could tell her that I want to be the next King of England, and I know that she's going to help me do it. Renee has just made all this possible for me. She gave me a life, an idea of something I never thought was actually possible. When people told me as a kid that you could be whatever you wanted, all I thought that meant was either I wanted to be a drug dealer or some kind of bad person like everybody else I knew. I didn't have any idea that I could actually grow up to be something that I wanted to be. And now that I'm 22, I'm living a good life, I have my own home, I've got a cat that I love dearly, and got a stable job that I'm very happy at, where I work not as much as everybody else, but I work really hard at, and I make good money. I'm finally at a point in my life where I can be independent and I can take care of myself, where I can get to go on vacations. I mean, I went to Mexico this year and just got to lay out on the beach. And I would have never got to do anything if I didn't have my CASA worker.